What's up, guys? It's the Mando back with another Star Wars video. Here to talk about Star Wars Squadrons today. So if you played the game and you want my opinion on it, go ahead and stick around. If you haven't played the game, be aware there are some spoilers to the story. So if you don't care about them, here we go. I'm going to get right into it. I really did enjoy the game. I felt like overall it was very well made, and it felt like a love project, or love was put into the project. So I really did like the game. Some of the things that I felt like highlighted the game well were the visuals. The visuals were done very well. I felt like there were certain aspects of the cockpit and the way that you could see certain things, instruments within the cockpit, I felt were really well detailed, and being able to see the cockpit come down over you when you're in the X-Wing, or getting to experience being inside of a TIE fighter, all of that was done marvelously, and I really enjoyed seeing that viewpoint from the games. So visually, the game is stunning. I felt like the world design and the maps were all done very well. There were some interiors that are really, thought out well and looked really good. So as far as visuals go, I really like the game. Looks really good. Story, on the other hand, could have used some work. I felt like there were pieces of the story that really needed some smoothing over, some sanding down, and maybe even reworking altogether. I didn't feel very involved in it. I found myself really kind of bored by some of the story that was put into place. Basically, the characters were not all of... Let me rephrase that. The main characters were not all that interesting. You had Captain Javes, right? So Captain Javes, another Imperial turned rebel, which we've done that story how many times now? Iden Versio, that ring any bells for anybody? Like, literally, I'm Imperial until the day I die, and then all of a sudden, you know what? The rebellion looks pretty tempting, so I'm going to go ahead and join up. I didn't like that. I don't like seeing this over and over and over again. If you're a diehard Imperial, be a diehard Imperial. We don't see it all the time, but when we do see it, it's really cool. Vader's a perfect example, which, I mean, realistically, I guess he changes back at the end of his life too, so who even knows. But basically, I felt like some of those characters were not very well thought out. When Captain Javes, basically, there's a part in the story where people think that he's dead, and I really wasn't all that interested in it. I mean, I didn't care. I was like, oh, wow, this guy's dead. That's sad, but whatever, And I feel like in a good story, you should be upset that one of the main characters died, and I really didn't feel that at all. Another thing that bothered me about the story is you really feel like you're experiencing the story from an outside perspective. Out of body experience would be a really good way to describe this story. So that was kind of annoying. You never feel like you're in your squad. You never feel like you're a part of your team. And for me, you don't get that experience of being involved in the story, and I feel like that's pretty important. Your character doesn't talk at all. And for character building, so you just have these characters on your team who are going on these extremely long rants, and you're basically just listening to them, not saying anything, which is really weird and never happens in day-to-day conversation. So another thing is this optional dialogue option. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. So you have to go talk to these people in the hangar if you want to talk to them, just to get any background on who they are or what they think about certain situations. And first of all, why would the regular player even do that? Most people are so gung-ho into just completing the campaign that they're just like, yeah, whatever. So me being the Star Wars fan I'm sitting here talking to every one of them like, where are you from? What's your deal? But you never really get to experience any of that, and I felt like it should have been at the forefront of the gameplay. Why are we not going on missions discovering these people's backgrounds and what they do and how good they are at certain things? Why do I have to go look for it? Why isn't it not just in the game? And I felt like that was some of the best written content in the entire story. So that kind of bugged me, and I really felt like they could have done that better. Again, this is a small takeaway, like, from the story itself, but it really does take away, at least to me, from what the game could be. So another thing that I felt like could have been done better were using these cameo characters a little bit. Like, you see Wedge Antilles, why can't he just go off? Why don't we see him legit wreck an entire squad of TIEs? Hera. You see Hera Syndulla for the first time since Rebels, and the ghost is nowhere to be seen? Like, what is that? Like, let's see the ghost in action. Let's see something really cool happen. And, you know, as a fan, you're left waiting for that, and you really don't get any satisfaction from it at all. Hera is one of the coolest characters that you will see in the game, and I really enjoyed seeing her in the game. I felt like it definitely opened the door for more opportunities to see her in future projects, which is really interesting. She's definitely one of the cooler characters that came out of Rebels, so to see her and know that she's still alive and doing well, and that we might see her in maybe one of these new Star Wars TV shows would be really cool. And that was some of my favorite parts in the game, were being able to interact with her, see her, and talk to her. So the other thing that I kind of want to talk about is the gameplay. The gameplay was actually really good. I felt like it was a complete upgrade from Battlefront 2, which is the last game, you know, basically in this franchise. So I enjoyed it a lot. I felt like it upgraded on every portion of that. It doesn't feel anything like that game, which is really good. And I really like this engine or power diversion that they do in the game. So, like, you can up your shields, up your weapons, or up your engine power, and basically make your fighter perform completely differently than it would normally, which is really cool and adds a unique aspect to the game. And another thing that is really cool is when you select a different loadout for your fighter, it performs completely differently, which I thought was an awesome feat, because realistically, one fighter could perform completely differently than the other one, and you would have to really relearn that fighter entirely, which adds for more gameplay and more fun. So I really liked those things, and I really felt like it was easy enough that casual gamers could get into it very well and perform well in it, but it had enough maneuverability and different kind of tactics that you could use that the sweaties would be really into it. And I felt like that learning curve wasn't too steep to get into that. So I really liked the game. I thought that I highlighted a few different portions that were really good. Like I said, I feel like the story could use some work. I really would have liked to see us go to different planets. This is an entirely space game. I know in the trailer you see an Imperial crash on a planet, and, you know, for me that was kind of a teaser that maybe we'll get to do some kind of planetary conflict where you're fighting in the atmosphere of a planet. That would have been really cool for the story for sure, but you never really see that. And to me, that was a big giveaway that could have kind of made the game better for me, and you never really see that. Another thing that kind of bothered me was you don't walk around like at all. You have to, like, randomly teleport into certain rooms, basically. Like, it's a point-and-click system. Not a fan of that at all. Like, you're the same studio that produces Battlefront. You're telling me that you can't, like, include a player walking from his ship to the bridge of a starship. Like, that doesn't seem that hard to me. So that was one of those things that really kind of bugged me. Now, it definitely makes up for it in the gameplay, in the fighter gameplay. It definitely makes up for it, but just a little thing that really kind of bugged me. So, overall, I did like the game, though. And these are all very small criticisms that don't really affect the gameplay that much. But as a Star Wars fan, you expect more out of that title, and I think that's kind of where I was with it. Overall, like I said, I really like the game, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7 out of 10. It's not the greatest game I've ever played, but it's definitely up there, and compared to other flight games, it's definitely upper echelon. So, either way, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Merry Mando, and thank you for watching. This is The Way. Have a great day. I am signing off. See you later. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. This has been the Merry Mando. Enjoy the rest of your day, and may the Force be with you.